Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, presented by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. And we've got a Hall of Famer with us this week. Pretty exciting stuff, man. It's Myrick Coil, like famous boat racer and everything. Thank you, sir, for coming over. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
You ever get tired of being a celebrity?
It doesn't seem like celebrity to me. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, when it comes to, I had my neighbors this weekend, their grandkids are down for spring break and they're all over asking me about, and they're like, "Are you famous?" I say, "No." And I was like, "I'm just a guy that's good at driving boats and setting up boats and stuff like that." So I don't know. It's humbling. It's a nice feeling. But I've just been doing it for a long time, so it seems like old hat.
That's so cool. And what an amazing story, which we will get into on this week's show, of how you got into racing, because you didn't grow up in it or anything like that.
Shootout's the reason.
Yeah, so there you go.
And the fact that they're doing the lake race and the shootout here, I mean, it was at the 21-mile marker at the time, but yeah, Shootout's the reason that I got into boats, because from Central Illinois, I didn't know there was even boats that way.
Not much water out there, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a Hall of Famer. You're also a world champion. Won the world championship in
multiple times, actually.
Yeah, Race World Offshore.
Yep.
Right.
So world championships in Key West, and Race World Offshore, and been lucky enough. I don't know how many times I've won it, but a few.
You know, you're good when you can't even count how many times you've won the world championship or the national championship, right?
Won that one a few times too in different multiple classes. So yeah, it's I don't know. I'm one of those guys that you ask me birth dates, I don't know them. You ask me, what's going on in 3 months from now, I don't know, or how many, just the criteria of like how many world championships you won. To be honest, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're fun to win.
Yeah.
So tell us about this kind of racing we've got coming up, Shootout Offshore. It used to be called Lake Race. It's now the Shootout Offshore. Our Shootout folks have taken over the race. What kind of racing is that?
So it's the typical racing that I'm used to, and instead of it being like the Shootout, which is a rolling start, 40-mile-an-hour start for 3/4 of a mile, radar gun at the end, it is anywhere between 4 and 7 mile courses usually, multiple buoys, multiple turns, safety in all the turns, and it's a little bit, it's more exciting as a driver and as a boat racer, because you could be out there for as long as 45 minutes to an hour racing instead of 30 seconds.
Right. It's not just a time trial, a speed thing. You're actually racing other boats.
Yeah, side by side. Hopefully not making contact, but it happens. Lake race last year in the MCOM boat, we ended up second, and Pro Floors had pushed us all over. Valder Yachts, they had pushed us all over the place. So I mean, it's a race to one. Obviously, that's what we always say in boat racing, because unlike cars where you can get up on their bumper and manipulate them, you can't. You have to do it from the side, because there's a giant rooster tail behind them, and that keeps you from running the same line as another boat.
I hadn't thought about that.
I mean,
you're going to run into not just their wake, but their rooster tail.
I tell you what, most eerie feeling in anything that I've ever done is being in the rooster tail of a boat that you're racing against and not knowing, because you can't see. I mean, there's so much water landing on the deck and on the windshield of the boat that it's tough.
You're blind.
You're
basically.
blind. You're blind, and if you lift, you're done. That other boat's gone. So it's
that's spooky.
Yeah, it is spooky.
But you like that. You like that. Is that your favorite kind of racing, or what?
I would much rather do. We call it roundy round, but that's what I do. As many as 8 races a season. So
roundy round.
Yeah, I mean that's what Dave Scott used to always call it, roundy round racing.
Yeah.
And Dave was more of a shootout guy. He was more into drag racing from being with bikes and things like that growing up, and so that's why the shootout was his love. And once me being a youngster, getting in a boat and running around a course and dicing it up and having all the different things that come into play, waves, wind, other boats, this turns hairy, easy through here, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just seems like a little more exciting.
Yeah, and it's a little more dangerous too, right?
I don't know. The danger's always there. I mean, but with good safety crews in all the corners. Usually have helicopters above us that have the angels in them. And, you know, there's been multiple times that they've had to jump out of the helicopter and make sure I'm all right.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. And they did a great job with Bill Allen. He's a local racer here too. And we actually came together in Key West in the final race on Sunday. And I didn't even know we made contact, but his boat flipped over. And there's a unbelievable video on their page that shows the angels coming out and falling in the water and, you know, making sure they're all right. And they can look in the windows when the boat's upside down. Because when they go upside down, it's kind of spooky, but because everything goes dark. But most of these boats have escape hatches in the bottom of them.
That'd be a little, unless you're knocked out or something.
Yeah, unless
right?
you're knocked out. And then we have air regulators that basically compressed air, just like a scuba diver has. And you could wear a full face mask, or you can have a regulator. A lot of the things that they teach us in our, they make us do dunker tests and all this, you know, before every race. And
you have to do that before every race?
Before every season starts.
Okay.
So, and then there's some guys that do it multiple times a year just to keep fresh on it.
You bet.
So, I'm going to throw Tyler Miller under the bus on this one. He hates that. He really does. So I have to do it with multiple people. With Rusty, I have to do it, and with Tyler, I have to do it. So, and you know, I'm just kind of comfortable doing it. So other people get a little worked up, Tyler being one of them. But they basically put you in a pod, and you're sitting there, and they have no windows in this pod, and they're in a swimming pool, and they have divers all around, and then they flip it upside down, and you try to get out.
Wow.
So
that freaks me out.
It's good
man.
training. Yeah. Upside down, water, no goggles or anything. So you know, it's a swimming pool, so it's much easier than real life situation. Yeah. It's saltwater. I've went over in saltwater before and broke them up, and it's sketchy. It's scary. And not only are you nervous about getting out, but you're already spent from, you know, driving, and you're sweating, and now you're upside down in water. It's not fun. You don't want to do it.
Long, hard day.
Yeah.
So we're talking with the Hall of Famer, Myrick Coil, about racing, about the Shootout offshore race that's coming out. We'll continue this conversation when we come back on Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. Central Ozarks Medical Center, voted Missouri's best and best at the lake, is recruiting team members due to growth. Amazing employment opportunities for both medical and non-medical positions with competitive salaries and outstanding perks. For more information, go to the Careers tab at centralozarks.org. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Join a leader. Join our team. COMC, where your health is our mission.
Take Lake TV with you wherever you go. Watch Lake TV on demand on YouTube, Roku, and Fire TV.
Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. We're talking with Hall of Famer Myrick Coil, boat racer extraordinaire, world champion, national champion, shootout champion. I mean, it's just kind of your middle name is champion, I guess. I don't know. So racing is a family thing for you, right?
And actually, no. I mean, my family being Performance Boat Center, yes. Because ever since I became an employee of Performance Boat Center, we've been racing, and that was in 2015. For me, originally started racing in 2002 as a crew member and driving offshore powerboats since 2005.
Okay. So. And when you started at Performance Boat Center, you didn't even pitch them as a racer. Hey, I want to be in a boat. That was somebody else.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was basically the owner, Mark Waddington, wanting to, you know, get the Performance name out there a little more, and he loves it. If you ever have him as a team owner, or, you know, you could say crew member, but team owner, that going into a race, he knows everything that's going on.
Wow.
It's not like he sits back and wonders what we're going to do. He's involved in every decision and basically is really versed in how everything works with boat racing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I mean,
It
he's
is.
not just there to make a buck or
Well,
whatever.
it makes it easier to explain when you do good or don't do good because he knows
true.
what's going on. Instead of him throwing his hands up and go, "What happened?" He knows what happened. Yeah.
And your wife, I mean, I saw a picture of, it was captioned, the girls of PBC, Performance Boat Center. Your wife was there.
Yep.
So she gets involved, she cheers you on?
She goes to most of my races, and we try to take, I have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl, and we try to take one of them to individual race a year to give them some of the excitement of them being away from their brothers and sisters and going to a boat race and having fun and get some alone time with mom and dad.
Do they know that you're a big name in racing? Do they get that?
My oldest son probably does.
Yeah.
But the other ones, I'm dad.
Yeah, exactly.
They might not say I'm gone for a weekend racing. They might not ask how I did, or they have watched it on a live stream and they said, "Dad, you lost. Why?" Or usually not like coming home and being like, "Way to go, Dad." You don't get any of that. You're just pretty much you're just dad that races boats.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You go home and get grounded, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you didn't grow up, as we've talked about, around racing. You grew up in Illinois. You came to the lake in 2000, and I think you were building swimming pools.
Yeah.
You were an electrician. What flipped the switch that just made you need to get into the boating world?
I'd say the biggest thing was having a mom that was all about find something that you love because you have to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
And she was always, a good backer and a good supporter. And she knew that I had, through swimming pools and grain elevators, you learn plumbing and electrical, and just through life, we had some little go-karts around the house, and I always had to work on them because my dad wasn't mechanical.
Right.
And he still isn't. He was asking me yesterday to come over and fix the trailer lights on his trailer. So, that kind of stuff. So her telling me, and they had a lake house down here, and they had a boat, and she talked to a service manager one time and like, "Hey, it's hard to find employees, And so at that point, it was like, hey, they're looking for boat mechanics down there. And there's a technical school in Camdenton, and Lake Career and Technical Center was where I went. But what it took was the Shootout to get me excited about it.
Interesting.
So Shootout there, oh my gosh, look at all these boats from all over the world that come here to Lake of the Ozarks. How do I work on those? Well, you go to school, learn how to work on them. And that's the whole story, basically.
Wow. And you're like the poster boy for LCTC.
Well,
right?
I love it. If it wasn't for LCTC, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I mean, might be putting swimming pools in Illinois still. Who knows? But Larry Whitrock was my teacher. Tim Keeney was the high school student teacher, and they were Gail White was the administrator at the time. But they all did me good. Made sure that I got taught everything that I needed to be taught, and set me out on a good journey to Advanced Marine that was over there on the North Shore, that still is on the North Shore. And, I got hooked up with more good people, and then through my career, just being around good people and learning as much as I could from all of them.
That is amazing. You don't get a better commercial than that if you're Lake Career Technical Center, right?
Well,
LCTC.
yeah, so I still hear from Tim Keeney a lot, and I have a lot of job shadowers that been out of LCTC that come and work for me, and a lot of them we call shadow, because they come into the shadow. But yeah, there's even employees that shadowed with us, worked for us, and then now that are off on their own, have their own business. So it's neat. I mean, it's all about sharing your knowledge and trying your best.
Isn't that cool? Okay, so we're down to our last few seconds. Tell us about, quickly, Performance Boat Center. You're over there, you run the shop and everything. If people want information on PBC, how can they get that?
Well, you can go to our website, performanceboatcenter.com. You can go on social media. We're on all the different TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can look on there. Or you can just swing by. We're at the 21-mile marker. We have multiple restaurants. We are now a boat manufacturer, so we make performance power boats, and a lot of the painting and rigging is done there right on site. And we'll work on your boat, we'll sell your boat, we'll transport your boat, we'll do anything that is regarding a performance boat.
There you go. That's Myrick Coil, the Hall of Famer, and he'll also be racing in the upcoming Shootout Offshore race, so that'll be fun too. Thank you so much for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.
You're watching Lake TV.